Islam Makhachev is the favorite to defeat Jack Della Maddalena. Now, I know I didn't just tell you something that's a surprise to you. I'll just share for you. Islam, according to my partners at DraftKings, is the favorite and has always been the favorite. It is never hedged. The line has never dipped to beat Jack. But there is never a time that I can't go and look at a headline and have to hear how the advantage goes to the bigger guy. There's never been a time. I'll go back to Ilia Topuria when he did it most recently against Charles Oliveira. As great as Ilia was and as much as you guys believed in him. As a matter of fact, Ilia was ranked number 1 pound for pound, but a number of you said he won't beat Charles because Charles is too big. Now, throughout history, I don't know if you could tell me a time that the bigger guy won. I don't know that you could tell me a time that being the bigger guy was actually an advantage, but we always have the conversation, and for some reason, in this instance, and possibly for the first time in my career as a viewer, nobody cares. They're right to not care. I'm just sharing with you for the first time, nobody cares. Why is that? Jack is being overlooked to the highest degree. If there's anything that has happened in 2025 that has the makings of a potential upset, it's this. But why are you guys so confident in Islam? And it's not as though these guys haven't fought. Now, we all know each other. It would be the extreme rarity that you could put an MMA fight together. And that each guy, when they find out who their opponent is, in the matter of 2 to 3 phone calls, couldn't get to a common friend that has felt the other guy. In this case, it would be 1 phone call away. It's Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad and Islam were deep training partners, never quite considered themselves teammates, but boy, they were right. They were right there. And they trained together on a very regular basis for a meaningful period of time, including Belal going out to Dagestan, just to share with you. And then Islam got in there. I apologize. Belal got in there and fought Jack. And it was a pretty one-sided fight. I was a little surprised, in fairness. I mean, I felt like Belal was really showing his heart and his spirit, and he kept coming at him. But Jack Della Maddalena showed to be a little better than I knew he was at that time. I did not know that Jack could become the world champion, but I moreover did not know that he could have a 10-8 round against Belal Muhammad. Credit to Jack. But either way, Belal would be a very good source to tell Islam, hey, here's what you're going to have problems with. And Belal would be a very good source to come and tell us, the audience, his opinion, based on unlive rounds, but many of them sparring, versus 5 live rounds in front of the world. He would have a very good opinion on who's stronger, who's more durable, who can hold up, who is going to win this fight. And Islam right now is a favorite. Minus 245. This is according to DraftKings. Jack is a plus 200 underdog. But only one of them is the world champion. And Islam has done one thing that brings me concern. Now, I'm going to be interviewing Islam next week. I will ask him this to his face. I will let you guys know what he says. But the one thing that brings me, and it's ever so slight, it's ever so slight, but it does bring me concern for Team Islam, as he will not quit talking about Ilia Topuria at 155. I don't mind the talk of Ilia Topuria. The part that I mind is at 155. If you're going to fight Ilia Topuria, Ilia can come on up like everybody else. I'll give you an opportunity. Get to the front of the line. I'm champion of the world. I'll stand my ground. That's not what he's saying. He's saying he's going to return to 155. And again, I'm just talking about history. But I can't think of a time when a bigger guy went down to obtain champ status. This is off the top of my head, but I'm pretty good at this. And the only athlete that's ever done that, off the top of my head, was Amanda. Amanda did go to 45 and prove she was queen, and she dipped back down to 35 and prove she was queen, and she'd go back to 45 and prove she was queen. But you see where that's just slightly different. Like those 2 divisions combined, 135 and 145 combined, had half the athletes that 170 pounds has right now. Just for example. I remember the night that Dillashaw tried to go down, ran into Cejudo. And I remember the night that St-Pierre went the other way and succeeded. I argue for you, right, wrong, or indifferent, but I make the argument to this day that the reason Volkanovski did not beat Islam Makhachev in their first fight, to remind you guys, that was a split decision. But DraftKings had Islam a 3-1 favorite. There was nothing to see there. The live gate did not do some record amount. The pay-per-view did not swing the needle. That was not supposed to be the awesome fight. It goes down like a fine wine, and it keeps getting better with time. It goes down as one of the great matches ever. But I maintain for you the one thing, even if it was subconscious, that Volk had working against him is he did not walk away from 145. He went up to capture 155, but he'd already told everybody he will be back. And by the way, the UFC kept the belt around him. Win or lose, wake up the next day, Volk was going to be the world champion. Win or lose. For Islam to wake up the next day world champion, he had to win. And when it got razor thin, and that's what a split decision is, when it got down to nut cutting time, no more about skill and how fast your jab is and how good your footwork is, whatever any of that even means, what's your wrestling experience versus my armbar experience, when all of that's gone and it's a straight up who wants this more, one guy had to have it. He had to. The other guy wakes up champion either way. And it's my one concern with Islam. I don't doubt his skills. I think he's a fantastic fighter. I don't doubt that he should be ranked as high as he is. I don't even think I'm surprised that he's the favorite. Jack is tremendous. I'd love to talk to Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad knows right now who's going to win, or at least Belal Muhammad, for anybody on the face of this earth, has the best guess. He has the best knowledge and insight as to who's going to win. And I wouldn't be stunned if it was Islam. But Jack does appear to be tougher than most people think he is. And if Jack wants to be champion, there's only one way to do it, which is to beat Islam. Islam has the opportunity to lose to Jack, go back to 155. Islam says he's going to beat Jack and then go back to 155. I'd feel a lot better if I was Team Islam. And between now and bell time, even if that's a matter of hours, somebody splash some cold water in his face and let him know in his future there is no 155. If you do that, you will help Islam to beat Jack.